I was a jerk early in my life, okay? I think I'm a pretty good person. Even more importantly than that, I want to be a good person. I want to treat people good. You know, I was out at some store the other day somewhere, and I just looked up the lady and said, "You have a real nice day." Then I walked out and started laughing at myself. I said, "Man, you've really changed." But the thing is, this game, this whole experience, this whole ride, it's taught me how to want to be better. It's taught me how to want to help what we have, to appreciate what we have, to try and help kids, to try and help them have the opportunities that I've had. That's what's important. I don't care what anybody else says. You can say it right to my face. It just right off me. Because I know deep down inside that I care. And that I care to make things better for not just Kirk Gibson, but for everybody. I look at the big picture.
Mike Ilitch's purchase of the Tigers allowed Gibson to return to the team for the 1993 season. The loudest cheers on the first full day of spring training were for Gibson. He had a productive year with 13 home runs and 62 runs batted in. It was an older, more mature Gibson who truly appreciated the second chance to play with his hometown team.
There are probably still some Kirk Gibson detractors out there. Are you concerned that you might not ever win everybody over?
Nobody ever wins all the time, and it bothers me. But you know, you keep your distance from people, always to a certain extent. So they're never going to know the whole story, and you know, they're welcome to their opinion. You know what? And those are the kind of people that keep me in check. And those are the type of people that'll keep you in check. Yes. And that's life. That's how you grow. And I like to have devil's advocates. I think it keeps you objectively thinking.
In his 17 Major League seasons, Gibson batted .268. He hit 255 home runs and drove in 870. The two dramatic World Series home runs are career highlights any player would love to have on his resume.
Do you want to be in the Hall of Fame?
It's never a goal of mine. My goal was to be a world champion, and anything that happens underneath that is great. I don't really endorse the Hall of Fame. Like, obviously, Tommy Lasorda's in there. He belongs there. Sparky's going to be in there. He belongs in there. I'm not going to get into some of the people that are in there that don't belong in there. When I see people like Pete Rose not in there, I can't endorse it. When Pete Rose goes in there, I'll start talking good about the Hall of Fame. There are many guys who are a hell of a lot worse person for the game, for society, than Pete Rose. And when I grew up, Pete Rose was a guy I looked up to. I watched him run the bases. I watched him do, you can ask Sparky. Pete Rose wasn't a guy loaded with ability. He had a huge heart and a huge desire. So, you know, I played my game. The Hall of Fame doesn't recognize guys that maybe didn't have the numbers. Numbers are misleading. Like I said, if I was a 300 hitter, look at Wade Boggs. I don't think Wade Boggs is a Hall of Fame player, but he's going to be in there probably because he's hit 3 zillion whatever. But you go ask Wade Boggs' teammates about if they'd like to have him on his team. If they'd like to have him up there when the game was on the line. How can you take a pitch down the middle with guys on second, third with 1 out and a chance to win the game? But that's the way the game is, and that's the system. And you know what? I've got my kids, and there's my ultimate reward, okay? And I've got my accomplishment. I set my goals in baseball, and I met them. So anything beyond that point, I can't change that.